let you guess. 3, 2, 1, let's play a little game. Watch out, straight the danger. Can't taste that all around the song. It's when they create the fast and natural. Time thinking, a time bomb. Beware, here and there, song the alarm. To go all the way to the afterlife. To get free, to the first degree. Trust the list, and here's the list. The chest is missed, beat up the master arm. Infuse the essence, depend the casting. Bring on your hook, come round to rush. Put down nothing on the side of my rock. So be my guest, I wanna you get. 3, 2, 1, 6, let that rest. I will never die, so I'm alive. 3, 2, 1, that rest. You will never stop the night. 3, 2, 1, that rest. You will never stop the night. That rest. So be my gas, I will gas. Be 3, 2, 1, let's play. So be my gas, I will gas. Be 3, 2, 1, let's play. Let's 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1.
星河间璀璨细数流淌，一瞬息皆是华丽乐章。抬头望，你我间光阴铭刻心房，一刹那现实让人彷徨，却猝不及防。时光是那些回忆的长廊，尽头是种习惯隐藏，我却从未试图去猜想。目光是坚定着我的回响，照耀着我不曾彷徨。闪亮在光里，我谱写着你我的旋律，让一切律动在一起，唱起了这一刻的思念化成歌。在光里，我弹奏着银河的讯息，拥抱着幸福的奇迹。星光映天际，是属于我们不散的记忆。
Absolute banger. Beautiful song. Hello! Why am I a little to the left? Hold on. And also, why is... Hold on. Something doesn't feel right. Hold on. Why is my model leaning a little bit to the... Hold on. Hold on. Still a little bit. It's tiny bit. Ah, it's better. There we go. Anyway, hello. Happy Saturday. Hope you're all doing well today. Dear goodness. It's a bit of a shorter stream today because number one, I have one thing prepared today, and that's... And my dogs are barking. I think it's probably because my granddad and his brother are doing stuff outside and they're not allowed there. So they're making a bit of a fuss, but it's fine. It's fine. What was I saying? Shorter stream. Yes, we have one thing on the agenda today. that quite honestly might take about 2 hours anyway, depending on how much I decide to comment and give my thoughts, which would probably be a lot. And because I'm making dinner tonight, so I gotta end a bit earlier so I can prepare. But it's fine, it's fine. Anyway, let me real quick. How's it going? I'm trying to connect my new drawing tablet. Ooh, nice, nice. God, I have a drawing tablet too that I haven't used in like ages. I want to get back to drawing, man. I want to get back to drawing. I should. I really should. But hope it's going well. Hope it's working. But also I'm doing fine at Donis, mostly. You know, the usual. Like a solid 6 out of 10. Could be better, could be worse. Walid also welcome in. And Fuyad, welcome in. Hope you're doing well today. Hope everyone's doing lovely today, or at least, you know, if not well, then at least okay-ish today. What OST is this? Well, I can't read that, so I guess I'll never know. I guess I'll never frickin' know. I'm also taking a little bit of a risk by playing a ZZZ OST playlist, because chances are at some point there'll be some song coming on that's gonna be copyright claimed again, which also happened apparently with yesterday's stream, where I had Genshin OST playing in the background. I think it was probably some of the like the songs with vocals that were claimed. So far the only safe playlist that I can like safe, completely safe Hoyoverse playlist that I can play is HSR. So fun. But you know, it's whatever. I'm continuing on my Manga Dex Shueisha takedown in the Discord I was in when we got the news from the admins. There was an absolute fucking pandemonium in there. I can imagine. I can imagine. Yeah. Who copyrighted Hoyo songs? I think it's the songs that are like collaborations with other artists that usually get claimed. Not struck, just claimed. Like, for ZZZ, there was like 2 songs or something where, you know, they collab with another artist, and I'm assuming that artist, or, you know, the studio behind it, or whatever, they claimed it. So that's probably it. Because, you know, like, the game OSTs itself should be no fucking problem, or trailers or something. But, yeah, I'm guessing that's it. Sven, welcome in. Have to go shopping with my sister, so we'll be back later. Gotcha. Gotcha. Where's my water? What are we reacting to? We are reacting to a big video today. A 50-minute long video. And said video is going to be all about fandom. Where am I? There I am. All about fandom. Not Squarespace, fandom. I saw this video. It was uploaded almost a week ago, and I thought I would react to it. Because, if you've been watching me for a little while, you know that I am pretty active in fandom spaces, and when it comes to fandom discourse, you know, I talk about it every now and then, because I think it is pretty important to talk about. And I saw this video uploaded by E. Just E. Ooh, banger. Anyway, yeah, video by E, who also does a lot of videos on Hoyoverse games, Genshin in particular, fandom discourse, other online drama as well. Lots of things. They make very nice videos. I think it's they. I'm not sure about their pronouns anymore. I forgot. I think they go by they, them. We love the letter E. We love the letter E indeed. And yeah, honestly, I mean, I was gonna like start it right now, but also I don't want to interrupt the banger. So you know what? We're gonna spend another like 2-3 minutes listening to the absolute fucking banger of a song. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit because wow, it is I fucking love this song. And I'm going to finish my last 2 strawberries, although they taste a little weird because I had a baguette before that, and there's like a lingering aftertaste, so it kind of like mixes with the strawberry and it doesn't taste nice. Yeah, he is great. He is great. Honestly, their videos are pretty good. They're a little dog. Also, I realize I don't think I've heard the full song. Damn. Dude, this song is so good. It is ridiculous. This is like right up my alley. Oh god. Oh, dear goodness. Yeah, I watched some of I watch some of E's videos every now and then. Every now and then. They're lovely. They're lovely. They're a little silly, but a lovely person. God damn. Hey, if this had been any character's EP song, this would have been a straight up 10 out of 10. I don't care. They could have just played this song with 4 minutes of black screen. It would have been a 10 out of 10. I should probably add this one to my playlist, honestly. It's so good. I should probably add this song to my playlist. Dude. Okay, it's almost over. It's almost over, and then we're gonna get to the actual reaction. You know, I'm usually not like a huge fan of metal and screamo. Well, metal not quite, but like screamo and stuff. But you know, I like it to an extent. I can appreciate it. You know, if it's mixed in with mostly, you know, singing, I can appreciate it a lot. I think it's very nice. I think it's very nice. Anyway, that was that. Hugo EP extra analysis when? Oh yeah. So the Hugo EP is going to be its own separate video. That is for sure. So I have the reaction and ranking of all like the other EPs, you know, minus Hugo's. Edited, it's uploaded. I'm just waiting to post it, you know. I have one video to post. I have one different video to post today, and probably like maybe tomorrow or early next week, I'm gonna upload the ZZZ reaction. And the Hugo video. So that video, it's going to be his EP, and then the cover by Fukuyama, by his JP voice actor. And that video is going to be over 30 minutes long. I can already tell you that. And there's going to be a lot of editor notes in there. Because I spent like 20 minutes already, 15 to 20 minutes, analyzing each one of those MVs. And, you know, came up with like, picked up on a lot of stuff. But there's still so much that I only noticed after rewatching the video in my own time that, I think I'm just gonna have like a little corner, like say I'm hold on, I think I'm probably just gonna go and have like a like a little corner somewhere up here or something, or down here or wherever, where I just blend in all my little, like, you know, comments and stuff of things I'm noticing as as the video plays, because there is so much, so many little things that I've noticed that I feel like I want to mention, but like, yeah, that was gonna be a long one. And because it is like over half an hour, the Hugo EP reactions, like those two videos are like half as long as the entirety of my reaction and ranking of the others. If you like metal, you should try to listen to The Summoning from Africa. I feel like I've heard that one. At least the name. Or I feel like someone suggested this a while back already? Not sure. I'll check it out. My god, my dogs are going insane down there. Dear goodness. Anyway. But yeah, long video incoming. 2 long videos incoming. Anyway. If you have extra time on your hands, you should probably listen to the Keen character themes. I might. At least in my own time, you know? I don't think it's a good idea to do that on stream, because, you know, copyright and stuff. But my own time, sure. I shall. Anyway. It is time to talk about fandom. Fun stuff ahead. Fun stuff. I have my own thoughts about this topic. I have a lot of thoughts about this, and I'm sure the person we're gonna be reacting to also has them, judging by their 50-minute long video. And I feel like we're probably gonna be touching on some of the same issues. So let's see what E has to tell us today about fandom and how fandom is allegedly officially dead. Let me know if the audio is fine and everything. Actually, I should probably turn it up first. They didn't have to go so hard for a guy made of planets. Hey, one would argue that's why they have to go even harder. Okay, let's go. Why every time why does it do this every time?
Space Force sponsoring this video. Let's do an experiment, you and I. Let's go on our phone or the device you use the most and go on any social media platform. Are you a fan of a specific video game, anime, music group, or other piece of fiction?
You know what? I'll turn
Find
alerts
the
off for
community
this.
on that app that was created for that fandom. What do you see? Oh, you see some fan art. Wow, so talented. And then, oh, look at that. You see discussions over the newest update song or episode.
Indeed.
Oh, wow. Everyone seems so happy.
What are we reacting to? We are reacting to a little, I suppose, a video essay-ish or video of some sort about fandoms. Fandom culture, fandom spaces online by by E on YouTube or ES Social on other social media platforms. And yeah, today's gonna be a big yapping day. Big yap day.
Update song or episode.
Okay, something.
Oh, wow. Everyone seems
You know what?
so
I'll do this.
happy and excited to talk with others about the thing that they. Oh, what's this? Oh, that's a pretty heated discussion.
And here we go. Let me read this. I freaking love Yamato. He's my favorite One Piece character ever. My favorite guy. Oh yeah. Heads up, I still don't know what exactly Yamato is because I'm not caught up with One Piece, but that is a debate that, oh boy, yeah, people got very heated about. And then we have Hater Joe. I stay hating. I need you dead. I need you dead so bad. Yamato is the worst One Piece character ever, and you need to be dead in the ground, and I hate you. I hate you. I hate you.
Discussion. Don't think that was necessary. Oh, that's a pretty intense take on a character. Wow.
Yeah. Yamato isn't trans just because Yamato says that Odin is a man, so they became a man too, does not mean shit. Yamato clearly has boobs, so that's a girl. Stupid liberal. Hater Joe, baby.
Wow, very wrong. Oh god, what the fuck is this person talking about?
Wake up, sheeple! Also, I hate you if you're gay.
About who thinks like that? Oh, all people who enjoy XYZ are bad people, and here's why, based on Freudian theory, a thread?
Freudian theory? Like, this has to be satire. Number one, this has to be satire. Hater not Joe, I say hating. This has to be like, that's just like pure rage bait. But dude, yeah, we do not love Hater Joe. We hate Hater Joe.
Huh? What?
Call out post. I've been keeping silent, but we need to talk about our combat instructor, Gilbert, whatever, and how he's been using a false identity to hide his shame and dishonor. Trigger warning: violence, gaslighting, child abandonment, desertion of duty to what?
Is this a 1,000 word post calling out this random person in the fandom for being a bad person? Who is this guy? Oh, now we hate the piece of media that we all came here.
I'm tired of pretending One Piece is and always has been problematic and horrible. Dude, I fucking hate. I hate the word problematic. It is so vague, so unspecific. Everything is problematic these days. I cannot stand that word. And if I find anybody posting about how they like One Piece, I will be adding you to a DNI list. I am so disgusted. Jesus.
Disgust because it's problematic. Okay, what the hell just happened? My god, I'm exhausted. Are you exhausted? Because my goodness, this is a lot, okay? This was also a pretty step-by-step reenactment of what it was like for me when I first joined the Love and Deep Space fandom on Twitter. It was all love and deep space and fan fiction and fan art and helping one another on fighting tips and talking about how often Silas may shave his chest hair. But the more I scrolled, the more it slowly morphed into this toxic waste zone of like accusations against people's integrity, arguing over in-game content and the morality of some in-game content, and fights within and outside the community based on whatever the new hot take was of the day. But this was just an example of a wider overall culture online when it comes to fandom spaces. I don't know about you, but I'm seeing TikToks
yes.
of people stating how basic fandom stuff is cringe, such as shipping and cosplaying, and everywhere I turn, a moral argument on
how it feels to see fandom new gens that say that non-canon ships shouldn't exist, self-says is problematic, and headcanons are weird? You mean literally everything fandom is built upon? If you take those things away, right? Okay, self-says maybe like a smaller portion. But if you take non-canon ships and headcanons away from fandom, what else do you have? Literally, what else is left? Like, what else is there to be having fun with? Random face reveals scare me. Gilbert from Fire Emblem Three Houses? Yes, exactly. Well, actually, maybe? I'm actually not sure. I have no idea. Maybe? And Classic Corgi, welcome in. I love that name. Hope you're doing well today. And Blazeman as well. The only one that can say problematic and get away with it is Mordin from Mass Effect. If that thing goes boom, it could be problematic. See, that is in that context, yes. In this, no.
On the ethics of consuming this type of media versus another is happening. Any situation is looked at with the worst, most pessimistic form of interpretation that at some point it looks like people just want to fight all the time. Hey,
oh, they
look,
do.
I am not the first YouTuber to make a video on how internet?
What is... Oh, okay.
Bad, and I won't be the last, but there is something wrong with modern fandom. It has turned into something so toxic and so hostile that I'm not sure if I actually enjoy being in fandom spaces online anymore.
Cue that one video of the woman talking about people getting into anime during the pandemic and how it's ruined fandom spaces.
More. And I've been here since elementary school, but I know I am not the only one that thinks this. But what happened? How did we get here? Why do online fandom spaces seem so hostile today? Were they ever not hostile? Was it always like this? Is this because of the pandemic? Let's discuss the state of modern day fandom and ask the question,
pandemic
will
definitely
this ever end, or is this our life now?
Contributed to it quite a lot.
Cool. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is E, as in exhausted, or I'm
pretty sure you used that one already before.
In Pleiades, because I'm a drow right now. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm gray. I am my OC Pleiades from D&D. She's a drow. This is not drow accurate, by the way. I know, okay? I need my white wig, but she's not here yet, and I need contacts. Okay, with what money? You know what I mean? Like, I need to get prescription colored contacts. Does anybody know where to get some of those that won't cost me an arm and a leg? I digress. And welcome to my channel. And today we are going to not be losing our minds. That's why I'm in drow makeup, because I thought it was fun, and we need the little things right now.
Whoops.
So like,
why does it always do that?
Be a drow, you know, be an elf. Don't crash out over the modern state of things challenge. Failed already. And with that, please like the video and subscribe, because
shall do
really
if I remember to
helps
after
me
the video.
not crash the hell out on a daily basis. And also, I'm a drow, so like I like threaten people's lives. So
you know what,
I didn't
valid.
actually threaten your life, but like I vaguely did. So if you want to support the channel even more, then consider becoming a member on the coffee.com/eosocial to get a shout out at the end of every single video and to see videos like these super duper early. Thank you so much to our coffee members, and let's begin.
Nice. I wonder how much of these problems are caused by social media sites being purposely designed to cause addiction through negativity. Oh, that definitely plays a part in it, for sure. Like spaces like Twitter encouraging you to just spout whatever nonsense you can think of to get more engagement, for sure. Yeah. Negativity being so heavily pushed definitely encourages a lot of people.
Ooh, I'm the ghost of E's room, cursed to spend an eternity in this low-key small as heck room. Like, dang, girl, you live like this? But being beyond the 6th dimension, yeah, there's like tons more, by the way, will not stop me from telling you about today's sponsor, Squarespace.
Apologies, we only have so much time, so...
website? It's very small, 8x8 square, or whatever. Bye.
Bye. Alright, part 1. Did the pandemic really cause this? It contributed. It didn't cause everything, but it played a big part, I would say.
In a moment, we are going to be talking about all of the crazy that is like becoming commonplace online. But you may be asking first, why are things different now? Like, what changed online fandom culture so much to the point that fandom veterans almost can't recognize it? Well, to put it simply, it was most likely the global pandemic's fault. Yeah, you know, remember that thing? But in my opinion, it's a bit more complex than just that. So a lot of people online, when discussing this shift in the last few years, cite the pandemic as the catalyst for all of these super toxic mindsets to become commonplace. It makes a lot of sense, right? I mean, a global instance of everyday life being upended occurred for a few years. So everyone having to stay at home. Every corner of our life would be affected in one way or the other. But is
everyone being more online, having to look for different hobbies.
Mother, but like literally and not figuratively, ended up flocking to online spaces during a time when pretty much everyone was supposed to be inside in quarantine. And in that time, these people who did not spend a lot of time online started to discover...
This looks like an interesting post. I don't have all the time to read it right now, but it looks like an
worlds
pretty interesting one.
Thriving on the internet. These people would also be introduced to fandoms in this time period and start realizing, oh, There's so much online regarding some of my favorite TV shows and games. This is so awesome. And or these people were influenced into getting into video games, TV shows, K-pop, anime, what have you, and then discovered the fandoms and online communities from there. If this sounds like your experience, then please let me know in the comments.
It wasn't mine. I got into fandom spaces in around 2013. 2014, 15 was when I became a little more active, I guess. But I know. I know, buddy. I know. But it was a little over a decade ago, or around a decade ago. Somewhere around there was when I first got into fandom spaces. Mostly stuff like mostly stuff on YouTube, Instagram. That's pretty much it. I was never really on like many other platforms until the recent-ish years. And you know, like AO3 manga sites, other fan works and stuff. But yeah, for me it was probably like 2015-ish plus minus one. I don't fully remember.
It would be like super.
Let me actually real quick. The shift started years before, but the pandemic rushed the transition. Yeah, I think that's where that's where this is probably going. It's the pandemic alone wasn't the cause, but it definitely it fueled the fire for sure. Silver, welcome in. I definitely got more online back in the pandemic when I started getting a better grasp on English. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Super interesting to see. But this group of people did not grow up in fandom spaces.
Yeah.
Or they just enjoyed Twitter and Instagram in their spare time and watched dog videos. I don't know what people without fandoms do online. I'll be
honestly. Same. Like online at least. Like what else do you really do online? If not, you know, like even if you don't like engage with fandom, with people in a fandom, you still engage with the media. Like what else do you do online if you're not either playing games or watching a show and talking about the show and games and they hike, I guess. Yeah, skip the online part. Yeah, I mean offline, sure, whatever. Tons of things to do. But online, like what, like that's like to me, that's always been like my main reason. Like I've always been connected to fandom in some way, shape, or form since, you know, being online. I wonder how people conflate being a fan with being in the fandom. Sometimes you see people talking like the fandom supersedes actually liking the source material. Let me just Google real quick what supersede means again. Take the place of something? Proceeds? Proceeds. Wait. Or overtake. Okay, that's a good word. Thank you. Pardon my language barrier barrier ring. Let me read that again. The fandom's receipts actually liking the source material. Oh, okay. I think I know what you mean. Like that people basically care more about the fandom than the actual. Basically, like the implication that being in a fandom or being active in a fandom, that basically fandoms aren't supposed to be like about enjoying said piece of media, that fandom is like a separate thing, sort of, or, you know, fandom isn't actually just about sharing your passion for the piece of media you consume. My bad. All good. I may have been learning this language for over a decade, but every now and then there's some words where that I need a second for, or that I don't know, that I can only glean from the context. But Yeah, I think I get what you mean. Yeah, there's also like people who I mean that we had a little conversation about that a while back when we watched I think it was a video about the video talking about gay ships and why gay ships happen, why people tend to prefer queer ships over straight ones and whatnot. And many people who think that, you know, if you're a shipper, if you like shipping characters, it means that you somehow neglect or choose or misinterpret or misunderstand the source material, and you care more about the shipping aspect than, you know, the actual medium you're consuming, which is weird. It's weird and usually not true. Anyway.
In their spare time and watch dog videos. I don't know what people without fandoms do online. I'll be so for real. And just had, you know, zero clue when entering these spaces about the pre-existing culture that has been growing and evolving since like the 1970s. So they entered these spaces, right? They saw a lot of cringe and a lot of weird and decided to share their thoughts on said cringe and weird and made their voices very loud. Thus, with so many new people and people who don't know fandom etiquette showing up online because of the pandemic, leads some fandom veterans to hypothesize that that's the reason why fandom feels so different now and why it may suck big old booty cheeks. I actually agree with this theory to an extent because it makes a lot of sense.
Same, to an extent.
I also witnessed it in real time, but also because I did some numbers research. Yeah, get into it. I googled. So to get academic with it, as the kids say, I found that social media usage surged by 20% due to lockdowns in comparison to life before the pandemic. That's a lot. According to this research paper here that has a really long title that I'm not going to read, but you can read it on the screen. Also linked below.
Okay, why? Sometimes it doesn't... Okay. How are you? I'm doing fine. Hope you're doing well too. Fandom question. If the character being shipped already has partners and children with those partners, may that character be shipped regardless? Yes. Always. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If the character is already in a canon relationship, if they're not, if the ship in question is in some way, shape, or form weird or would be considered weird in real life for whatever reason, it does not matter because it is fiction, baby. And as long as you respect people's boundaries and you share your headcanons and passion and excitement in the designated spaces, it's all good. It's all good. Doesn't matter. Also, let me read the title. The bright and dark sides of social media used during COVID-19 lockdown. Contrasting social media effects through social liability versus social support.
That has a really long title that I'm not going to read, but you can read it on the screen. Also linked below. And this Pew article describes how 90% of Americans claimed the internet was essential in their day-to-day operating lives during the pandemic. The UN stated that an additional 782 million people came in line in just 2 years since 2019.
Hi.
I'm not a scientist, but that sounds like a lot of people. But just because there were more people becoming online in general and use social media more during this time, does it necessarily mean that a huge chunk of those people went to fandom circles, right? Well, I don't know. It just kind of like makes sense, you know, since most of fandom is conducted on social media apps now.
It makes sense to assume.
I have no idea how to measure if fandom got bigger during this time accurately.
Yeah, it's not really like, yeah, like it's Fandom
that on fanlore.com, they document each Tumblr year in review done by the blog Fandometrics, where the top ships, most popular celebs, and most popular fandoms are recorded from that year. In the years leading up to 2020, it seemed pretty chill, with pretty much no forward from the analysts until 2020, when they basically wrote, holy shit. So that makes me...
yeah, like so, 2020, huh? Yeah. So, regarding that, I would say that the first time I really noticed this, like, growing shift into, you know, towards the negative side when it comes to fandom spaces was when I was in a fandom that up until a certain point was commonly known to be, like, really fucking chill. Like, one of the, despite being a very big fandom, just being generally considered very, very peaceful, you know, and just fun and lighthearted. And that was the Haikyuu fandom. The Haikyuu fandom, up until, I'll say, like 2017-ish, plus minus a year or so, was generally pretty chill. Despite being a very big fandom, because, you know, it's a sports anime, and if you know anything about sports anime, sports anime are the breeding ground for ships and headcanons and fandom to flourish. For sure. Like, of course, people in the fandom, like, they enjoy the actual series, they enjoy the characters, they enjoy, you know, the story and everything. But Haikyuu was one of the fandoms where, like, shipping was going really strong. It was so strong, and it still is. It still is. Like, I remember going on AO3, reading a lot of Haikyuu fics on AO3, and, like, every day there would be at least 20 to 30 new fanfics updated or posted, which was a lot. That is a lot. I don't have like quite a reference, but like usually like many other fandoms that I'm in that are also quite big, you don't see nearly as many updates. It was definitely going strong. And but despite being such a big fandom, and despite being a very shipping heavy fandom, which, if you know anything about shipping, is that people have strong opinions about their ships. They tend to have pretty strong opinions about their ships. But despite that, shipping in the Haikyuu fandom was so chill because there were so many characters, so many possibilities, and if you shipped two characters, regardless of whether they had any, like, interactions together, whether it was the weirdest rare pair in history, people would look at it and just go, huh, well, that's weird, or that's cool, and they would move on. Generally, right? Of course, not every single person. There's always like a small percentage of people who aren't like that, who want to be weird about it and want to go to, you know, unnecessary extremes and stuff. But generally, it was pretty fucking chill. It was pretty peaceful, and you know, there were a lot of like a lot of popular headcanons and people sorting characters into little groups, into little like character squads that were generally agreed upon. Like, if you were in the Haikyuu fandom, or if you knew anything, like, we had, you know, people were very excited or very passionate talking about the captain squad, the pretty setter squad, the you know, like, every position, certain combinations, like the third years, second years, and all that stuff. You know, like a lot of like established dynamics that people talked about a lot, but still, you could ship and like any weird combination of characters, and generally, at worst, people would just be like, "Huh, that's weird," and that'll be it. You know, you could ship characters with fucking objects or like inanimate objects, and people would be like, "Oh, that's funny." And that's it. But I would say, towards the end of season 3, I think it is, and with season 4, I started to notice, like I say, that people were getting a little louder. To put it, I guess that's a good way to put it. They were getting a bit louder. With season 4 releasing, which I think also brought on, I think season 4 definitely brought on a couple of new fans, because, you know, Haikyuu got a little surge, once more, and yeah, people had it wasn't as peaceful anymore. Like, it started to decline. It started to get to the point where, you know, to the point that I feel like fandom, or every fandom that deals with ships a lot, eventually gets to, which is, you know, if you don't like the most popular ship, then you have a problem. Then you are the weird one. And how could you not ship character X and Y? Yeah, like correct ships, you know, and ships that would get in the way of your personal favorite, which by the way is stupid. Like, listen, as a multi-shipper, why not all? But yeah, that was when I really started to notice it for myself, like 2017-ish. Like the end of Haikyuu season 3, start of season 4, around that time. That's when I personally started to notice. And even before, of course, it was already, you know, you already have people like that. I was also in the fairy tale fandom, and shipping back then was also quite interesting, to say the least. But even then, even in those cases where, you know, people were fighting and arguing a lot, it usually didn't get as bad as it does these days, with doxing and death threats and heinous, baseless accusations about your character and values. Like, it's gotten very bad. The most peaceful fandom I've ever seen is Avatar, the last Airbender fandom. Everyone was so kind with each other. It was so cool. I've never been into Avatar, but that's nice. That's nice. I mean, well, if it still is like that. The bigger a fandom is, the more chaotic it is, obviously. There are exceptions, but it's more common. Yeah, for sure. You know, and like, it makes sense, you know? The bigger a group of people, the more likely you'll have those that, you know, are there to sow chaos, to, you know, disagree, and to be a bit more extreme. The statistic inevitably... inevitably that a big and great author would have gotten their start on AO3 making ship fanfics. Oh yeah, yeah. Like many popular book series are literally just fanfic, like published fanfic. Yeah, this idea that like there's right and wrong ships that are like morally or whatever correct. Instead of just co-insisting when having fun with your interpretation. Can't believe Haikyuu was so chill. Yeah, it was honestly fascinating. It was fascinating. Like generally, the Haikyuu fandom was pretty chill. At least for today's standards, right? Because even if there was fighting, it didn't usually reach the heights that it does today. And it generally took longer to... It was rarer. It took longer to get to a, you know, a certain peak. And even that peak tended not to be as insane as it would be today under like more trivial circumstances, if you know what I mean. Pumpkin, welcome in. Yeah, you can have a favorite ship, you can have many favorite ships, but no, there's no ship that is inherently right or wrong. Even if you think it's weird, even if you think it's taboo, even if you think it is, quote, problematic, there is no inherent right or wrong ship. It, like, that in itself just sounds so ridiculous, right? And yeah, Wally, like, small fandoms, definitely. Definitely. I'm experiencing that with the Windbreaker fandom. The Windbreaker fandom, all in all, is pretty chill. And see, that's what I say fandom, and by that I mean the people who actually care about the series. I don't mean the tourists and the normies who watch the series and, you know, end up complaining that it's not what they thought it would be, and then, you know, start spouting hate about a character they don't like, or, you know, all that kind of stuff. But the the Windbreaker fandom, because it is a little on the smaller side, it is not like huge, and the medium itself generally tends to filter out quite a few people early on, you know, because people go in thinking that it's gonna be a show that's like mainly fight focused, and it's gonna be more like mindless action than anything, and then they find out that it's actually a very character driven show, and the fighting is kind of like just a bonus, and they're like, well, this is boring, I'm gonna leave, or this is too woke for me, I'm gonna leave. So, you know, the people that stick around usually pretty chill. Anyway, it's been 11 minutes.
with pretty much no forward from the analysts until 2020, when they basically wrote, "Holy shit." So that makes me think that the amount of people engaging with these fandom spaces grew a lot starting in 2020 as the surveys got more and more detailed, but that's also an assumption. But I don't think that the level of toxicity that we are witnessing online is entirely because of the pandemic. I think it's nuanced, like everything is in life. My hypothesis is that it is a mixture of things that the pandemic helped move along.
Shut up. Shut up.
Dies ist eine magisch schnelle
Shut
Werbung.
up, I don't care. Shush your mouth. Okay, and we're back. Whoops.
That the pandemic helped move along. If you were in fandom in like the early 2010s, then you most likely were on or knew about Tumblr or somehow digested Tumblr through screenshots of their text posts being posted on other websites.
I did.
Secondhand Tumblr, if you will, because arguably Tumblr was the fandom hot zone at that time, along with a few other sites like LiveJournal and personal blogs. Until one day, in December of 2018, when Tumblr made the worst decision arguably of all time, because Tumblr decided to ban any and all nudity from their platform.
I remember that. I remember that. Yes. I remember talking about this with a classmate back then. It's genuinely a wild decision.
Thus, with one stroke, ended its long-standing reign. The Verge wrote that the platform lost about 30% of its total traffic within just 3 months. I'm no data analyst. That's not good, though. There was a lot of jokes about female-presenting nipples and whether or not if a frog was drawn with female-presenting nipples, if that was against TOS. It was very funny. At the time, it was very funny. But also at that time, if you created or consumed NSFW content or you didn't touch that shit at all, you and a lot of others just kind of said "F this noise" and left. But where did they go? Predominantly, it seems like the most of us went to Twitter. That's what happened with me. And when 2019 and the pandemic rolled around, the younger of new fandom people also went to TikTok, which really took off around that time after it ate musically and became the giga giant Chad that it is today. So Twitter and TikTok today appear to be the new hotbeds for accessing fandom circles and discourse. Now, this is the part where it gets bad. As we know, I'm gonna say this with kind words, Twitter is in the shitter, LOL, because of elongated muskrat.
Absolutely.
Is the main form of content on that damn
It was
site.
it was bad before. It's hell now.
Incentivized with money to piss people off. I don't know if y'all know this, but anger is a strong emotion. And that leads to more engagement on your post, which leads to like, what, $5 if you have a blue check mark? So it is no wonder that whenever you go on Twitter, you always see fighting and bad takes, or you look at the replies on a hit tweet and they're being mean, or they're stirring up shit, or it's the same few people on every single post.
Yep.
And most of the time you leave the app feeling like frustrated or super irritated. Am I the only one? Don't look at the other side of my hand. Blue check marks or
yeah, no, that's like that's what I do. Like I still use Twitter every now and then. I don't engage on Twitter. But I literally the main reason I go on Twitter is if I want to see like, you know, of course I want to see people, you know, like fan art here and there, or people, you know, sharing their thoughts on a recent, you know, update on a game or whatever that came out, or all that kind of stuff. But every now and then I go on there just to like see how dumb people are being, you know, like I don't engage with it because I don't want to expose myself to that, and I don't want to be like that, but you know, I passively consume it every now and then. Yeah, for sure. Like if you get at a certain point going on Twitter, like it can definitely sour your enjoyment of a piece of media.
the people who are everywhere stirring up
Yep,
to make
yep.
$3.50 aren't the only ones creating a hostile place on the platform. But that culture of toxicity seemed to have spread and amplified and ramped the up to everybody in every community. Fandom being no exception. Now, hold on. I am not saying that Twitter was like a paradise before 2020.
Absolutely not.
Before elongivitis took over. But if it was then today, it's like if grew wings of diarrhea and started flying around, leaving chemtrails of piss in its wake. You know what the situation
Yeah,
is just
pretty
like?
much.
It is exactly like that episode in The Sandman, stream The Sandman by the way, where normal people are just living their lives, going to or working at a diner. They have their own petty issues and toxicity with each other in a very normal fashion until this ass shows up, reveals everyone's true nature, but like to the extreme, to the point where they start hacking each other's fingers and limbs off.
Jesus.
And everyone's dead at the end of it, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. There were lesbians in there, and there were gay men in there. Oh my god, there was so many queer people in that show. Love. Anyways, like, am I wrong? It's the exact same thing. Those people in the diner wouldn't have killed each other if it wasn't for this face in pajama pants. TikTok, no exception.
Yeah, it's
Still
the
toxic on
encouragement
that
for sure.
platform. But it also has an algorithm that really changed a lot. That also led to people being only shown what they agree with or like in the form of the For You page, which in turn leads
that
to
is,
insane
hi,
echo
Gojo.
chambers and the what about meism, where users will see the proverbial how to make bean soup recipe video, and half the comments are, what if you don't like beans? This video is on my For You page, but it's not for me. I don't like beans.
Yeah, and I've been seeing that kind of stuff as well, and I'm like, you know what? Hey, if it doesn't work for you like that, then you are free to move the fuck on. Nobody's forcing you to stay and watch the whole thing and comment on it. That is your choice, and by engaging with it, you are all you're doing is telling the app that, hey, I guess they want to see more of this, and if they're engaging with it, and then it keeps happening. Like, at least think for 2 seconds.
What the fuck? This is a moral failing of the original poster. This is so exclusionary. Don't know why you're British. Sorry. This mindset absolutely existed before TikTok, but again, I feel like it's been amplified to the extreme just with how many people are on these apps now. So this recipe of everyone flocking to the internet during COVID and going to apps like Twitter and TikTok, which are way too big for their own good, led people to what we are witnessing today in fandom spaces. Constant fighting, bullying, extreme instances of what about meism, a total disregard for fandom etiquette, and so on and so forth. I am like 90% sure my theory of what caused modern day fandom to be so awful is correct. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm right. Like, it just sounds right? But also
Like, it makes the most
I
sense.
feel like I would, need to be a professional analyst, and I'm not. So, source, trust me, bro. But I wanted to hear more from you guys.
I think this is one of the very few instances where trust me, bro, is like the most credible source you can have, because like it just makes the most sense, you know? Like, there is no concrete objective way to measure this sort of development, but it all checks out.
And to get more opinions on this matter, so I put out another Google form. I love when this happens, where I asked you, the rats, how you feel about fandom pre-2020 and post-2020. And oh my god, an overwhelming majority of you guys said that internet fandom post-2020 has been a dumpster fire. Were my questions leading? Maybe, but a lot of you, not super surprisingly, already reflected what I was thinking about and mulling over before, writing this video. And this relatively smaller batch of people could represent a larger whole who feel the same way. But more on that Google form later. Also, I wanted to say that this video is inspired by Fish, the masses will know, where I had a different Google form where I asked what you guys want me to talk about, and this was one of the topics, and I was like, real. So, thank you, Fish. But when I say modern fandom is what do I really mean exactly? Like, what the hell is happening?
All right, part 2. What the hell is happening? Way too much. That's what's happening.
The better question is, what the hell isn't happening in modern fandom spaces? I honestly found it like pretty hard to start this part of the video because there's just so much to discuss and there's so many layers to it, and it's difficult to break everything down to a neat little part 2. So I guess we should start by giving some broad categories and some examples therein. So here are 3 of the overall types of trends that are like pretty common in fandom spaces these days. We have morality, content, or fandom policing. We have a lack of fandom etiquette or understanding of fandom culture. And of course, the discourse epidemic, which I am guilty of. I'm going to be talking about these trends
to an extent
loosely, as there's
I think the last one, you know, discourse can be fine, you know, can be very constructive, it can be very very pleasant. You know, I enjoy the occasional friendly debate, but keyword friendly. And people don't know how to be friendly anymore these days, I guess.
Too much to get into for each one of them, and also they sometimes blend into each other, so just keep those topics in your noggin as we move forth. So, the first phenomenon, lack of fandom etiquette or understanding of fandom culture. These days, post-2020, there seems to be a lot of rejections, or a lot more rejections, of things that were pretty commonplace or like staples of fandom culture, predominantly prior to 2020. This can be shown in young people or new fandom members going on TikTok, for example, and calling shipping cringe, or liking bad guys cringe, or even finding self-insert fanfiction to be weird. Look, shipping and being cringe is a big part of fandom. It honestly
literally a core pillar of fandom
coming into being as we know it today. But what is shipping if you don't know? Shipping is the act of wanting 2 characters in a piece of media to be together romantically. And you can convey your love for a ship through fan art, fan fiction, discussion posts, what have you. Shipping can also occur between real people, so some musical group stands may ship the members together.
That is that is a bit of a different thing, and I agree on that front that people should definitely keep themselves in check. You know, there are people in real life, like within groups, or you know, just famous people in real life who don't mind being shipped together for, you know, whatever reason. They think it's fun, they think it's you know, whatever. But even then, you should not overdo it. You know, stick to your own private community. You know, don't expose people to it that don't want to see it, and keep in mind that these are still real people,
for example. But the act of shipping
and wiki image wilding, it was
a huge part of fandom culture, and it is one of the trademarks of it. People may ship 2 characters together that are canon, or that are a confirmed pairing in the source
And there's
material,
the question that I think Wallet was it that earlier asked.
Ships.
Ah, yes. My boys.
That are completely not canon in the source material at all. Some people even ship 2 characters together that might have never, ever even interacted.
Dude, crossover ships back then? Dude. People these days do not know the ridiculousness and the joy that was Jack Frost and Elsa. They don't know. They don't know anymore.
In the source material, there was a whole trend.
There it is.
Where people shipped Elsa from Frozen and Jack Frost from that Guardians movie.
Exactly.
And like, hell yeah, dude. Yes. Just another day being in fandom. Like, I'm pretty sure it was kind of like satirical, but also y'all were cooking.
Corset of
Oh, shut up. Shut up. Nope. There we go.
In fandom. Like, I'm pretty sure it was kind of like satirical, but also y'all were cooking. People.
This is completely unrelated to what we're doing at the moment, but the official HSR Instagram account released a new song, More of a Lullaby. It did? Well, maybe I'll check that out at the end of stream, if I remember to.
Also create original characters, or OCs. And these people might ship their OCs with pre-existing characters in their fandom. The way I ship my OC Pleiades with Gale Decarios from Baldur's Gate 3. Whoa, I'm talking about myself right now.
I used to do that back then as well, especially when I was younger. Especially when I was younger. I had my crossover, like, not ships, but just, you know, crossover interactions that I, you know, came up with in my head. I never really did much with them. Like, I never put them on paper or anything. But, you know, I had my fun, like, up there in me brain. It was fun. Very fun.
Sometimes, to get a little spicy, people may ship a character with itself. It's called
self-cest!
Self-cest, and it has a lot of discourse for some reason.
The fact that people don't... Dude, I think the most ridiculous discourse about self-cest that I've seen is people not wanting to call it self-cest because that makes it sound too close to incest. Where I'm like, dude, you are shipping a character with themselves. What? That is your complaint? That is your complaint? Who the fuck cares? I mean, call it whatever you want, right? I think some people call it like mirror shipping or doppelganger ship. What, I don't know. There's like different names that some people are using, but it is self-cest. It is self-cest. That is how it's called, and you're not gonna change that. I'm gonna, like, if you're not comfortable with that term, okay, I'm still gonna keep using it because that's what it is called. If you want to call it something different, that is totally fine. But that's what it is. And if it bothers you because, like, you think it's too close to incest or whatever, okay, well, guess what? That's kind of the point. That's... Yeah. Yeah. Like, it is literally stripping a character with themselves. I guess in a way that kind of is. I mean, or it can be. It's... Dear goodness. Anyway.
It's called self-cest, and it has a lot of discourse for some reason. Fandom is also insanely queer, so the vast majority of ships are queer themselves.
Oh yeah, also another thing that people want to start shit over is, you know, the common self-cest is problematic because you are shipping the character with themselves, so they share, like, it is like, because it in a way is like incest and something same genetics, something it is fiction. Self-cest in particular is a scenario that could never happen in real life. You can't clone someone. You can't do that. Like, inherently, self-cest can only be fictional. It is so weird. That time when Argenti met himself and the spark ignited. I mean, but like, self-cest especially is like, especially popular in media like Persona. Or Yu-Gi-Oh! Especially. I mean, in Yu-Gi-Oh! I always call, like, some, like, the main Yu-Gi-Oh! Ships, I always call them, like, Schrodinger's self-cest, because it's kind of self-cest, but also not, because oftentimes the characters are kind of the same person. Like, they share a body, they share a soul, or they are, you know, in some way, shape, or form, sharing something of their identity, fusing somehow. But at the same time, they still have, like, their own minds, kind of. But it's very common in those franchises. Very common in Persona, because, you know, you have the character and their shadow self, all that kind of stuff. You have, I mean, fucking P5 Joker. You have Joker, you have Akira, you have Ren, you have I don't fucking know who else. Like, it's very popular. I guess the difference now is people having to comment when they dislike a ship or a type of ship instead of just moving on. I'm guilty of this impulse. Huge rip. I mean, hey, at least you're self-aware. At least you're self-aware, you know? But yeah, for sure. Like, the urge to express your dislike for something when it wasn't even aimed at you. Makoto and Shadow Makoto. Literally. So many options. Like the Persona fandom is like... So I feel like very very high up when it comes to a big self-cessed community, whatever you would call it.
If you want to know more about the history of shipping culture, then check out this video here where I talk about that. But I lay this all out because in recent years, I have seen a lot of judging from why would anyone ship two characters that never interacted with each other?
Oh, dude. Different from what we're talking about, but Yuya from Arc 5 is literally his own father, if I remember correctly. Not quite. Wait. Arc 5 is definitely a case where there's a lot of self-test going on, because it's all about, like, parallel universes and, like one world splitting into four, so certain characters used to be one but are now split into four and their ship with each other, and, you know, all that stuff, so... And there's a lot of, like, shenanigans going on that front. I don't remember that plot point in particular, but when I think about it, I guess you had Zark, and then I guess it could. I don't fully remember. But either way, you know, weird stuff. Love it. Anyway, back to our rare pairings.
But I lay this all out because in recent years, I have seen a lot of judging from why would anyone ship two characters that never interacted with each other?
Yeah, that's fun.
Why is everything gay? Why can't
these
these
two
guys be friends? To judging self-insert fics, to
why can't they be dating
shipping in general. It's honestly kind of ludicrous to me to see posts like this one trying to denormalize shipping rare pairs when it's like, girl,
I'm sorry. I just saw what did I say? I just saw someone saying that everyone should stop shipping characters altogether if it isn't a romance show. Okay, look at series and games that have a very weak shipping culture, a very weak fandom culture in general. Look how those are doing. Look how dry and boring they are to get into.
Girl, where did you come from? We have been shipping characters that weren't canon or could never be canon since forever ago, since the Star Trek fandom, where
literally
Kirk and Spock were shipped all the damn time, and that was the fandom that originated fandom culture as we know it today. The first slash fic comes from that fandom. There's so much history there. This is the ancient Jedi texts that we are talking about here. Like, we have been shipping non-canon pairings since the Ice Age. Girl, where have you been? Who are you? Okay?
Theo,
Again, if you want to
nice.
know more about the history of shipping, check out this video right here where I talk more about how important Star Trek was and how important the X-Files were to shipping and to modern day fandom as we know it. So these traditions have been around before the internet. So judging the sacred act of shipping non-canon pairings as cringe is insane to me.
That is the actual cringe
crazy.
part.
Look at it like this. Shipping, whether it be shipping canon pairings or yourself with a character, is not like integral to a fandom experience per se. Like, you do not have to ship characters at all.
Yeah, it is not integral to the fandom experience. It is integral to fandom culture and fandom existing. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to engage with it. You don't have to be into shipping at all. But shipping has always been, is, and should, and will forever be a core part of fandom, of any good fandom, any big fandom, any like popular fandom has a strong shipping culture. Yeah, Star Trek. Yeah, like I actually read up on this a little bit in the past myself. Yeah. It really was like Star Trek back in the like 70s, like early 70s ish, that like kickstarted the idea of shipping characters, and you know, creating that kind of like fan content and stuff.
If you don't want to, but it is important to recognize how huge shipping is to the overall fandom experience and culture. Like, sure, when you go to the beach, you don't have to get in the ocean to have fun. Like, there's plenty of other stuff to do at the beach, like make sandcastles, sunbathe, read a book, etc.
True.
But people very often go to the beach
That's
to
a
get
pretty
in the ocean.
good
so
analogy,
it's
actually.
silly to go to the beach and be like, why are these freaks in the water? Ew, why are they paddleboarding? What the can we denormalize body surfing, please? Girl, you're at the beach. What did you expect to witness?
Yeah,
when
that's
you
a
went
pretty
to
good
the
comparison,
beach?
honestly.
Same with shipping. It's so weird. It's so weird to enter a fandom and then question, why is everyone so obsessed with shipping? Girl, you're in a fandom. What did you
That's the point.
expect? Why does everybody want to ship gay people all the time? You're in the Steven Universe
Dude.
fandom. Why does everything have to be gay? You're watching Arcane. Like, why are you so surprised? The first slash fan fiction was between men. Was between Kirk and Spock getting it on.
It was!
This rejection of customs that have been like a staple of fandom culture since the beginning, it seems like it's happening more and more, and it's just weird. It's just so weird to me. It just blows me away. So like, when you go to the supermarket and see fruits, don't get scared. You know what I'm saying? Like, relax. If you don't like shipping, don't engage with it.
Yeah. Although if you go to the beach, if you don't go swimming, you're a bitch. Well, I guess I'm a bitch. I don't usually go swimming. I mean, I don't usually go to the beach. And if I do, I just, you know, I dip my toes in, basically, and that's about it. I don't actually go swimming. But I guess I'm a bitch.
In addition to all of
I mean,
that,
well,
I have also witnessed
we've been new.
a shift in fandom interactions where fans see fanfics and fan art as content now, or something to consume and demand. Art from fans is a fun pastime, and it's a labor of love that should not be an expectation for fan artists, cosplayers, writers to produce content for you. People taking times out of their day to share their art with us free, in my eyes, is a privilege, not a necessity.
Literally, like, if you complain about the type of content, fan content that someone is creating, just purely born from their own passion about the series, if you complain about that, what, like, would you rather pay for it? Would you rather that every single fan artist, writer, everyone who posts like videos and video essays and stuff, would you rather they all monetize it so you have to pay for it and then you can complain? Because that is the only alternative. It's either you have to pay or you don't get anything. There is no, oh, well, it's okay to criticize some artists or writers because I don't think what they're doing is, you know, up to my standard. Okay, and who the fuck cares? Who the fuck cares? They're doing it because it's fun. They don't have to do it. They don't have to. And guess what? You may not enjoy it, but other people will. And those people may be encouraged to create their own fan content. And that one may be more to your tastes. You may enjoy that one more. And guess what? Then you can read it, watch it, look at it, consume it, and maybe you'll be encouraged to create your own stuff. That's how it goes.
In my eyes, is a privilege, not a necessity. I think way more people in fandom these days would rather engage in discourse and yap than like produce fun stuff with their friends because they enjoy it. I feel like back in the day, sharing edits with each other, sharing fan fiction with each other, sharing fan art with each other.
Dude, editing as well. Like, God, as someone who wasn't as someone who wasn't editing back in like 2016 up to, I don't know, 2022-ish, or 23, well, more so 22-ish, like editing as well, like AMVs and stuff. Well, at first it was AMVs, which was, you know, pretty basic. It was just taking a song and putting clips over it, like no big transitions usually, or it was rarer. Then we kind of moved on to Instagram, where, you know, people actually started, instead of whole ass songs, they just took like 30 minutes to 30 seconds to a minute of a song because, you know, that was the limit. And, you know, everything became more dynamic, people put more effort into it, and now it's kind of becoming more mainstream, more like simple, raw edits are more, you know, common to see. It's interesting, to say the least. Yeah, dude, I grew up watching AMVs. AMVs were so fucking fun. And again, like I was in the editing community. I used to edit, and it was very fun. It was very fun. This whole stream has me feeling validated and sane again. We are so back. We are so back indeed. Yes, and hey, that is what I'm here for.
Just like, I love this piece of media so much, I have to like do something with it. I have to like create something for it, as opposed to, I don't know, like seeing it as content that needs to be produced. So all of this is kind of like an understanding of fandom culture that people lack, which in turn leads to a lack of understanding of fandom etiquette too.
Yeah, and before we get to that, one second. Before we get to that, and also, the thing that people also don't seem to understand is, like, as E just mentioned, people are way more focused on, like, quote, criticizing, which just means, like, complaining about the content they see and, you know, spreading hate and their dislike of whatever they don't like. And, you know, just spreading negativity instead of actually creating things. Like, dude, if you see a fan fiction, fan art, a video, whatever it is, some kind of fan content, and you don't like it, or you think that this is not, you know, maybe you think that the characters involved are like they're out of character, or you think that the scenario you're looking at wouldn't happen like that, or you think that there's something missing, go create it yourself. Literally last night, I scour AO3 every night, right, for the fandoms that currently have infested my brain. So I've been looking I've been looking at the ZZZ AO3 basically every night before I go to sleep, right? My like bed routine. And personally, after 1.7, I have been looking forward to reading more fics of Hugo and Lycon, and Hugo and Vivian in particular. But, you know, with ZZZ being comparatively smaller than, you know, other big Hoyo games like HSR and Genshin and stuff, and also just newer, there's not that much. And I was like, you know, like, I feel like I really want to have, I really want a fic of Hugo and Vivian just talking after the 1.7 quest, because, like, you know, if you know, you know, like a conversation that I feel like we should have gotten in the quest, but we just haven't. And I'm like, I want to see that. I want to read something with that. But you know, the Hugo and Vivian tag just isn't that, it's very very empty right now. So you know what I did? After days of having that thought of being like, man, I would love to see something like that. I took my phone, I opened up Google Docs, and I started fucking writing. I took what was in my head, and I am putting it down. I am putting it into words. Now, I know it's different. Reading something that you yourself created versus reading someone else's creation, of course it's different, right? I probably wouldn't go back and read my own fic over and over because, you know, I made it. But when I finish this fic and I post it online, I post it on AO3, maybe, you know, there will be other people who read it, who enjoy it, who share their thoughts, and maybe, you know, at some point one of them could look at it and be like, hey, you know what? I can also write something based on this, you know, like inspiration as well. And like, you don't have to be good at it. Like, I wouldn't consider myself a great writer. I don't think I'm bad, but I wouldn't consider myself like a fucking poet, you know, or like a master author. No, but I write because it's fun and because even just getting my thoughts out there in some way, shape, or form already helps. Like, if you want to see something, just create it. Just create it. And eventually it'll catch on. Would you ever release your old AMVs again? Oh, honestly? I want to get through this video, but I can at some point. Yeah, I still have like a couple of my edits like on my Instagram account. So sure, we can I can do that. Yeah, for sure. Not now though, because we really do have to get through this. We're halfway through, and it's already been 1.5 hours. Hugo and Vivian need so much more interaction on God in game 2. Dude, really. They really fucking do. It's so foul that apparently, like, Vivian's trust events don't have Hugo in it at all, which is such a shame. Which is funny, because, like, Hugo interacts with literally every person in New Eridu in his trust events. Especially every man. Like, dude. You're so cooked if you have to make your own fanfic just because you haven't found it. The life of being a niche fandom. True. I need to find this on AO3. Find what?
And what is fandom etiquette? Well, part of fandom etiquette was usually just saying, like, live and let live, to each their own. Because
yep. Off-topic apologies, but 1.7 was the first ZZZ main story I was really disappointed with. Interesting. I actually loved it. I think we could have gotten a bit more, even. But what we got, I think, was great, personally. Again, I think, like, my main criticism would be more Hugo and Vivian interactions. But besides that, I loved it. But, you know, that's another topic.
Because in my day, fandom etiquette was generally enforced through the tagging system in whatever platform you used. People would usually tag the art they made or the fics they wrote, and those that
finding fan art today on social media can be so difficult because people don't tag anymore.
On Tumblr, or look up those tags on AO3, or engage in that content at all. Of course, there were still ship wars and debates and debacles, but usually, generally, from what I experienced, people kept their own circles and kept their own tags and generally only engaged with the stuff that they wanted to. Today, couldn't be further from the truth, babe. Back then, in the height of Tumblr and personal blogs and LiveJournal and all that stuff, you would go to the blogs or the tags that you wanted to interact with. Nowadays, it's more just a hodgepodge of bullshit 24/7, constantly swishing around on the few apps.
Yeah, it's also because, like, on many apps, people just tag everything.
Interacting with each
people
other
also put, like, unrelated
tags.
tags.
It's the entire world on, like, 4 apps, and we see everything and we see everyone. So now, a lot of normal or non-online people are
the normies,
online, and they see everything. They see the cringe, they see the ugly, and they have opinions, which everyone's entitled to, I guess. Some are revolted by some of the weird that they see when they had no idea that they were entering weird kid zones. This led to disregarding or never learning fandom etiquette, which is to just not engage with the stuff you don't like.
And even further, people also try to, like, make fun of this idea of fandom etiquette and fandom culture. Right? They like mock people who use those terms because they're, like, so caught up in their own bubble of just hatred and thinking that, you know, it is okay and valid and acceptable or whatever to invade people's spaces and try to force their views on others. Where I'm like, dude, do you realize that the idea, the concept of fandom etiquette is also for your sake? It is also so you don't see things that you don't like? It is so that you know where to look for things you do enjoy? That is the point. Right? It is not just, like, we're not just saying this for our comfort. We're not just trying to enforce these rules for our own comfort, but also for yours. You know, people complaining about seeing like not safe for work art and gore and you know, other quote taboo subjects on and opinions on fiction don't realize that if you actually stuck to the concept of tagging your posts appropriately, not engaging with things that you don't want to see, those two simple things, then everything would be so peaceful. Like, you would know what to look for, you would know what to stay away from. You wouldn't have to risk going into a tag that has your favorite character, ship, media, and seeing unrelated stuff that you don't want to see. Like, just logically speak, like, just think logically for a second. Pray the cringe you created doesn't reach mainstream individuals. Yeah. People have shoved their own heads so far up their own asses they police what other people like. Exactly.
This paired with this rising tide of conservatism washing over everywhere, the bullying started to happen more and more, which leads us to the morality or content or fandom policing online epidemic. I've touched on this topic of morality and fandom policing online in my video on, fandom policing here. And
oh yeah, I watched
then,
that.
Which was
that's
like a year
good
ago,
good video.
I was just entering my fandom essay era and knew that I was witnessing something very weird online that was different, but I admit that I lacked the true full understanding, or I lacked the full ability to convey my thoughts clearly that I now possess more of today. It is still a great video and I recommend watching it for more examples and more detailed examples of what I'm talking about today, and also to see the progression of thinking that has occurred over the past year. So essentially what is happening in abundance today, and something that I think is one of the biggest issues with modern fandom and why it's so exhausting, is this constant policing and censoring of each other.
Yep.
It's this epidemic of morality and of who can be a better person contest that is infested with elements of conservatism and purity culture.
In a space where the whole point is to explore taboo topics and things that
sort of progressive activism
would never be okay in real life.
But it just circles right back
Sorry,
around
I didn't.
culture. To an extent, some of the policing that we do to each other online isn't some sort of progressive activism that some people think it is, but it just circles right back around. It's so far left that it turns radically right. A really good example of what I'm talking about is this post saying that girls who only stan boy groups are so misogynistic, but what do you expect from dumb, stupid women? Fans want like cool,
like, dude,
new, interesting works of fiction.
Like, at this point, it's like left or right, it's just a circle, you know? Like, at some point, you go so far left that you come out on the other side.
But not too new or too dark or too taboo. You can't make any TV show or video game or fan fiction that deals with weird, dark, taboo up shit, because people view depiction as endorsement. Oh, this video game has incest in it? Then the creator supports incest, and everyone who plays it are incest freaks, which completely ignores the fact that this hypothetical game makes it pretty abundantly clear that the characters are bad people. They're
the only instance in which I think it is okay to condemn someone for the type of fiction they create is if they openly state that they support it. If someone makes a game or writes a book or whatever about a topic that is considered taboo in real life, like, say, for example, you know, like all kinds of, you know, murder, incest, abuse, whatever, and people think that it's, you know, not doing the topic justice, it's romanticizing it, which is inherently a pretty fucking subjective, like the idea of like romanticizing something, you know. They think that it doesn't fucking matter as long as the creator doesn't come out and say that they actually think this kind of subject or this kind of activity or whatever is good, that it is correct, that they support it, that they condone it. then it doesn't fucking matter. I could not care less about what kind of content you consume or create as long as you don't hold those values in real life. Even my dog agrees. Even he agrees. Like, whether it's a game like this, whether it's, you know, anything like the most heinous shit you've seen in history, doesn't fucking matter. Doesn't fucking matter. As long as the creator doesn't come out and say, actually, I think this is good, I condone this, who cares? Move on. You can criticize it. You can criticize the depiction of a certain topic, you know? If you think that it is in some way, like, inaccurate, or that the creator may be conveying a different message than what might have been intended, or that they may be conveying a more harmful message than intended. You can criticize that. That's totally fine. But it's about respect, and it's about acknowledgement that fictional content or fictional preferences do not inherently reveal anything about that person's real values towards real people and real life issues. Anyway.
Horrible, bad people. And it's viewed and portrayed in a pretty gross way. But no, because incest is in the game, it immediately means this game is morally corrupt. And y'all are freaks. You cannot miss a conversation, no matter what fandom you are in, of someone calling every person who ships this ship a bad or morally corrupt person. Fans call other fans abuse supporters if they ship Farina and Arlecchino from Genshin Impact, because one was a little mean to the other one. This ship is sibling coded. You can't ship them is not a new argument, but it's a lot more prevalent these days. If one shipper hates another ship that's not their own, as opposed to just saying, I don't like Javik from Arcane, people will find some moral excuse to hate it, so they feel better about themselves.
Dude. Black Butler is all I'm gonna say to that. Black Butler. If normies, and I'm gonna keep calling them normies because that's what they are. They don't want to actually engage with fandom. They want to consume and complain about anything that isn't tailored to their tastes. If these people saw how insane people go over Ciel and Sebastian and many, many other questionable ships and pairings and characters, and how the author themselves is, you know, very much feeding into it, they would go absolutely insane. They probably already are. They definitely already are, for sure. But dude,
like, oh, I hate Riolet from Genshin Impact because it's technically grooming if you look at it from this angle, or I hate
because they met once in court when Neuvillette was presiding over his trial, which is still a fucking wild argument. Like, how long do your legs have to be for a leap that gigantic?
Kate V, because it's giving police brutality and unfair power dynamics. You see posts people saying that if you like this fanfic trope, then you probably have daddy issues, or equating liking certain genres of books to entire personalities as like a new weird version of horoscopes.
I love how they're putting their own video on there.
You are what you eat. Whatever you consume in fiction is what you believe in real life. In the fandom, you have this evil character in a video game, like Jimmy from Mouthwashing, who, dare I say, is genuinely one of the worst pieces of shit and awful characters that I have ever come across. Like, kudos to the writer. Bro sucks. But some fans like him as a character and will get sent death threats over it. People are sometimes outed online as insert character name here apologists if they like a fictional character that like did something horrible and killed or tortured a bunch of people. Mass doxing campaigns are not rare, and
yes, my favorite, Kyluk, my beloved. What are they saying? I really wish Kyluk was illegal so I can put them on trial. I respect everyone's ships and opinions, but ships like this, just why? Oh, you sweet summer child. Anyway, I'm a Kylo shipper. I love Kylo.
They run to docs and expose fan artists for drawing a ship that is sibling coded. Even though the characters aren't like related by blood, there still is something like weird going on there, so you're morally corrupt for shipping these two characters. Just like the Kylo Genshin Impact phenomenon.
Ah, yes.
That's a long story. People are sent—
I actually did get like did get hate for that, for one Kylo edit that I made that wasn't even like inherently shippy. Although I, did imply in the caption and stuff that I actually did ship them. But inherently, it wasn't even like a ship edit or anything. And I had minors DMing me and calling me, like, accusing me of supporting incest and making like weird comments about like asking me if I am interested or if I like my siblings, whatever. And even going to my girlfriend for that. Like, these kids need help. Plain and simple. These children, and really children, because oftentimes it is minors. These kids need help. They need fucking therapy. I showed my friend pictures of a Kinnikuman character, and a picture on Google Images was a character ship with a fan character, and he was too unnecessarily disgusted. Like, dude, it's not that serious. Exactly.
Death threats and literally get mass bullied because they follow an artist online that makes weird taboo stuff. If you are a girl that ships guy characters together too much, or you need too much boys love, then you are a disgusting fujoshi. But what can we expect from dumb, stupid women? These are usually all ideals held by antis or anti-shippers, which is a growing culture online that is very particular over what kind of fiction should or should not exist, or should or should not be consumed or enjoyed. It is like a morality contest every day, and it's just tiring. From what I understand, pro shippers are just people who are like, you can ship whatever you want in fiction.
They are.
I don't care.
They are.
I don't want to be called either of them.
And by the way, the pro in pro-ship does not stand for problematic. It is a prefix, whatever you call it. I forgot, but it is the it means for. It means for. FOR. It doesn't mean, it is not an abbreviation for problematic. The word pro the pro part in pro-ship is used as it is for any other word. If you're pro something, it means you support that thing. Just putting it out there, because there's quite a few people who don't know about that, or who try to twist that word into something entirely different.
I don't like any of you guys. I think we're
just because I find funny Serval extra part doesn't mean I support that type of relationship. Exactly. Like, these people would not have survived Oda and High School Host Club back then, or as I mentioned earlier, Black Butler, because we had in Odan Odan High School Host Club we had the twins that were a very popular ship. In Black Butler, literally the two main characters, one of whom is a child. So nowadays you would and probably do get every pedophilia accusation under the moon thrown at you for liking Ciel and Sebastian. Worst part is I knew the person that made it, and I like that person and their art. That sucks.
Taking this all a little too seriously. But let me give you a more concrete example. On Tumblr, during the height of Supernatural's fandom peak, y'all remember that show?
I think I know where this is going.
From the fandom was Wincest, the ship between Sam and Dean Winchester. The blood-related brothers. Hey, look, I was huge on Supernatural during this time.
Fun fact: I actually didn't know at first that these two are supposed to be brothers, and I never watched Supernatural, but I was like, hey, they seem cute.
Forever. And I heard about Wincest, but I actually never saw like any Wincest art on my Tumblr feed because I just never engaged with that ship. Like, I simply just never followed or engaged with that tag. And from what I understand,
and it can be that easy.
Like, pretty prevalent. Like, people just liked shipping the brothers together. It weirded me out when I heard about it, and it still weirds me out to this day because I know the characters so well, and that just icks me out. But I never saw it. Like, I just never saw that content. But now it's not that simple. Apps like Twitter don't really have that level of tagging system to it. You are kind of just constantly fed things through the algorithm.
And that's why we love Blue Sky, because Blue Sky has their own feeds, and tagging actually works to an extent. Shut the fuck up. But that's why we love Blue Sky. There we go.
Want to very easily blend with each other, and sometimes you don't want to see gets fed to you. This does not lend itself well to practicing good fandom etiquette. This leads to people maybe seeing taboo ships and getting grossed out over it. But it's been extremely radicalized today. It's no longer having a reaction of mild disgust. It's a full-on reaction of violence, and it's something that I've talked about before on the channel, and it's something that I'm actually concerned about, just because of how radicalized it is. So if Supernatural, the hit CW show, was huge today,
yeah, there's also people who ship Lily and Lynette or Ether and Lamine. Yeah.
Oh my god, it would be insane. Wincest would be villainized. Friends would stop being friends with someone if they found out that they shipped Wincest.
For sure.
Mass doxing campaigns would happen to Wincest fan artists, and death threats would be sent in droves to Wincest fanfiction writers. Back before the explosion of fandom, Wincest enjoyers just hung out with each other, and people like
they were just vibing.
Enjoyers would just interact with each other too. When I first heard about it, I went, ew, okay, all right, not for me. Sorry, I really don't like it. But I would never in my life, when presented with a Wincest supporter, would I ever track down their entire internet history and presence just to find dirt on them to prove my point that all Wincest enjoyers
like that is the main point, is that
like, I've never
of course fandoms have always been toxic to an extent, but it wasn't this bad.
We have expose threads of people following this one artist or following this one ship or enjoying this one ship. The whole internet presence will just be completely explored just to find some dirt, just so we can excuse our hatred for them. Sure, you know, pre this explosion, there were ship wars all the time, and there were arguments when two sides of a ship overlapped. But from what I saw, no anti-Wincest people made exposing threads of Wincest fans trying to expose them to be a bad person in mass.
In fact, I would say that even back then, like, of course, some people would get heated and like death threats and stuff were probably here and there. But if you went to such lengths, I feel like even the people who were against us, like even the people who were, quote, on your side, would probably have looked at it and gone, okay, that is insane. Like, what are you doing? You know? Like, if some, like, to take my example, I was in the fairy tale fandom, and you know, Nalu and Nali, Natsu and Lucy, and Natsu and Lisana, those two groups were always kind of at odds with each other for sure. But like, if a Nalu shipper went out of the way to dox and harass and like threaten a Nali shipper's life, even other Nalu shippers would probably have gone like, whoa, that is okay, that is too far.
I am sure there were a few pioneers back in their day, but never to this extreme. I really point this out and tie this to this rising tide of conservatism and purity culture that leads to such drastic reactions to anything that isn't pure or wholesome. And I understand that people dislike when I and others use the term purity culture because, historically speaking, purity culture was very extreme and caused a lot of pain for women. And it's a very strong word and phrase to refer to. To an extent, it is kind of silly to equate such a thing to fandom squabbles, but it is not incorrect to state that what is happening now stems from purity culture talking points and ideas.
Definitely. It's like, definitely there's a lot of overlap, and it definitely has the potential to escalate to that extent. Like the general idea of the type of fictional content you consume and enjoy represents your real life morals and values. Like, that is, people don't realize how incredibly dangerous that is. It's not just like, oh, silly fandom drama or whatever. It can actually be really fucking dangerous. When you have people accusing each other of being pedophiles, of being abusers over a fucking fictional character or ship, that is dangerous as hell. And Corgi, absolutely, it is mostly young people. Like, at least in my personal experience, whenever you see these kinds of extreme comments and stuff, you go on that person's Twitter profile, check their bio, And at least like 8 out of 10 times, it is a minor. At least 8 out of 10 times, it is a minor saying these things. For sure. It's because people like kids these days are also like, they're not taught internet safety. They're not taught, or rarely taught, like just basic respect. It's insane. Mr. Shimmerman, welcome in. I never hear about OTPs anymore. Is that an outdated term? I still see it around. I think people people use it less these days. I usually don't. I rarely use it anymore. Honestly, I should. I just should start using it again. You know, embrace the cringe. Embrace the little cringe. I guess it's a little bit of an outdated term, maybe. I don't see people using it that often these days. 14-year-olds are fucking rabid about this shit. Yeah, I mean, hey, yeah, exactly. Like, as I mentioned earlier, the people who like jumped into my DMs to try and harass me over being a Kylook shipper, they were all minors. It was one minor, their minor friend, that minor having a different account and fucking DMing me on that one. It's all minors. Or it's mostly underage people who think they have the right and authority and are entitled to that kind of shit.
People have crazy reactions when a gacha character shows skin in a video game and calls everything with some sexual allure to it as gooner. And
literally, I spoke about this like on Wednesday when we reacted to the Hugo EP. I said this. People branding anything and everything fanservice-y as gooner bait. Even when there is nothing inherently sexual about it. I said this!
And bad and pervs and gross, you know, being very anti-sexuality and anti anything that isn't pure and wholesome. No taboo ship can be shipped. No game or movie that has dark material in it can be enjoyed without it reflecting on you as a person. And you are morally corrupt for enjoying anything that isn't sunshine, rainbows, and
dude, Wally, me too.
You know, it's very conservative. It's very witch trials. It's very sex pest. It's very anti everything. But of course, if you're like under 18, yeah, don't interact with adult content. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, yeah, weird art should exist. But I know for a fact that I'm going to be taken out of context, and I know in my heart,
absolutely,
in my soul of souls, that this portion of the video where I talk about fandom policing will be purposefully misinterpreted and seen in like the worst light imaginable.
Oh,
people will
no
find
doubt.
some way to twist the words that I'm saying into something like really gross and really bad and really disgusting, but like it is what it is. You know, I can't do anything about that because that is just the culture now. There is no benefit of the doubt. There's no.
I don't even want. Honestly, I don't even want to call it
nice
culture because it's not like a real culture.
The worst.
There's nothing positive about it. It's just
the worst possible interpretation.
hatred.
People will look to have. I like pancakes. Oh, so you hate waffles then? No,
pretty
it's
much
a whole different sentence. It's very much that meme. Okay, that's the culture. I will have comments, I assure you, of people saying that I want to corrupt children with like evil up or I'm a pro shipper. Please leave me alone. I don't want to.
Which is, by the way, also weird. Like again, makes no sense. The idea of like, oh, consume, like, it's the people consuming this kind of quote problematic and taboo content that are trying to manipulate and groom children. Like, I'm sorry. What? Of course, there are people enjoying that kind of content that, you know, are also just bad people in real life and horrible people in real life. But the idea that that is the medium they would use? Like, just try to think about this for a second. If someone wanted to get their hands on a child, a minor, for whatever horrible reason, which medium would they be more likely to search for and to, you know, talk about and to try to draw them in with. Something that is 18 plus, that is weird, that is cringe, that is taboo, that is, you know, deals with a lot of like dark and serious topics that, you know, oftentimes children, hopefully, are already taught to stay away from. Or the, quote, child-friendly spaces, the wholesomeness, the, you know, the media that is targeted towards a younger audience. Which one do you think is more likely to attract these kinds of people? Which one do you think makes it easier for these people to get close to kids, to, you know, build up some sort of relationship, some sort of trust, and to take advantage of them? It's not gonna be the fucking, like, it's not gonna be the show or game that deals with heavy, like, abuse and addictions and murder and other, you know, dark stuff. No, of course, like, where is the logic in that? Where is the logic in that? If you want to gain someone's trust and take advantage of them, you're gonna try to insert yourself into their space, and you're gonna try to gain their trust. You're gonna try to make yourself seem safe and wholesome and kind and trustworthy while antagonizing those kinds of people who consume this kind of content. That is how it usually goes. And we've seen this over and over in real life. Why do you think so many cases of abuse and assault and sexual assault come from religious people, come from family members, you know, people that are deemed trustworthy and that are deemed to be, quote, good, that believe in, that have like correct and good and wholesome values? Like, just use your remaining brain cells for 5 seconds and realize that that is the way more likely scenario. Anyway, sorry.
Up children with like evil up or I'm a pro shipper. Please leave me alone. I don't want to get any of those terms. Or like give me worse allegations than that because I tell people to mind
I zoned out halfway through.
Online.
Fair.
I am not a taboo enjoyer. I do not seek media with very strange, dark, and up fiction. I do not indulge in that side of the internet because some of that content makes me very uncomfortable. But
and that is valid.
Don't want to tell.
And the thing is that even if he did, it would be totally fine. Like either way, it shouldn't be like a reason for harassment.
Person I am after sending a person death threats over something fictional. The reason why this whole thing bothers me so much, it's not because it's super toxic and it makes the fandom environment just not fun to be in anymore, because every little thing is found the worst of in anything, to the point where you can ship two consenting adults in a piece of fiction, but because their relationship is kind of like brother sister or like kind of familial, though like nothing is blood related or whatever, people will call it sibling coded and will call you a bad person because of it. Like, it leads to that level of extremity that I find very concerning. I don't think extremity in any situation is good. Radicalization, I do not believe is a good thing, no matter in what direction it goes. And this is beyond fandom squabbles. I've said this before in previous videos, and I will say it again till the day I die. This is a problem, not because I want people to be freaks or whatever. It's because this is a really real issue, especially present day, of censorship. It's not a good thing that we have young people on the internet trying to censor and stop art from being created. That's not a good thing. Censorship in any way, not a good thing. We are reinforcing these like conservative ideals, but more on that point a little bit later. I just don't understand why we are so goddamn angry all the time.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Well, at least E's getting a lot of ad revenue from me here because I'm spending 2 hours on this video and getting 50 ads. There we go.
And why we are so goddamn angry all the time.
Part 3! Did it really used to be better? And conclusion. I would say it used to be
back in my day
less bad, at least.
But was it really better before COVID? Like, were fandom spaces any less toxic than they are today? Like, are we just looking at the past through rose-colored lenses? The answer is yes and no. I mean, for example, the absolute insanity of the Voltron fandom, where people were mass harassed for shipping some ship that some people argued were sibling coded between the Voltron
That was
characters.
another big
that whole
one.
thing happened before the pandemic, so this has happened before. So I'm not saying all of this is like exclusive to modern day fandom, but modern day fandom is more toxic than
Voltron in particular probably did like also fuel this whole issue a lot because Voltron was also very popular in Western spaces, you know? So that probably that contributed quite a lot.
Due to the fact of how
and you know the nature of the show itself, I guess,
it's
to an extent.
so big. There's so many people now, so it's just more rampant. There were ship wars, and there were mean people and doxing and death threats over silly shit before in the days of old, but it was not so frequent and not so huge. I asked all of you in the Google forum if you feel like fandom is different these days, and as I said earlier, the overwhelming majority of you said, yeah, it feels a lot less chill now. As you see, many responses point out how the bullying and toxicity existed before, but just got much worse.
Yeah, people have a lot of thoughts.
Frequent.
And I'm not gonna read all of them, but
they're kind of scared to even interact with fandom anymore. One poster recounted a famous moment in the Bungo Stray Dogs fandom, which is an anime, by the way, regarding an NSFW food play fic between two characters, and someone
wait. I gotta check which one. Tell my you Oh, it's Rampo and Poe? Interesting. Hold on. Let's see. Smaller voice question on popular because explicit for me, I noticed that some comments on feedback count, so I comments and blew up on TikTok. That's a bad thing. Didn't know since I use it. I should a bunch of comments. Yeah. I go back to read it, and it's literally so tame. Properly tagged. That's the most important thing. One of the most sane smuts I've read on this site for this pairing. Even it wasn't even non-con. No freaky insane BDSM. No dead dove do not eat. Nothing. Like not even that. I mean, as they say, even that wouldn't justify any like hate or disrespect. But dude. Not even like non-con? Come on now.
On TikTok, and of course that TikTok blew the up to the point where there were so many comments on the original fic on AO3 of people talking about how traumatizing the fic was. This is such a good example of what I've been talking about this whole video, because there's no algorithm on AO3. It is built just as God intended.
Dude, even on AO3, that is the wildest thing. Like on AO3, you have to look for these types of fics. Like AO3 has one of the like most elaborate filtering systems. You can filter for like major tags like major character death, non-con, fics involving underage characters being caught up in unfortunate situations, in weird situations. Like you can filter for word count, release date, crossover or not crossover, ongoing or finished. Language, of course, specific characters, specific ships, very specific, hyper-specific tags to include and exclude. Like, usually, like, whenever I go on AO3, I have a set list of tags that I will always exclude, so I don't get shown any fics with that tag, and I don't accidentally read it. Like, it is so elaborate that, like, you just have to learn how to use it.
Just tagged stuff that you will not find,
and usually people tag their works pretty well,
content.
Pretty accurately.
And yet people went out of their way to find something with content that they don't want to read. that was NSFW and raunchy and a little taboo just to say
Yeah,
how
dude, you had to go look
traumatizing
for
it
that.
was and like make fun of it.
Or you just
Like,
didn't
that
use
is
the feature, like the
exactly
filtering
what
feature,
the
right?
problem is.
Or at
We're
all.
not respecting fandom etiquette. And of course it was an NSFW fic because people are very weird about NSFW weird stuff existing. Again, if you're a minor, don't interact with that stuff, obviously. This is a really good point, and I don't know who put it like this, forgive me. I saw this post and I cannot find it for the life of me. But someone said somewhere that they think that the pandemic caused the normies to enter weird
It's that
kid
woman,
spaces,
yes.
and then got freaked out when they saw the weird kids being weird. Again, I want to
It's that
stress
video.
there are a lot of things and there are a lot of types of fictions that freak me out, give me the ick, or make me super insanely uncomfortable. Just like with Wincest, but I would never go out of my way to find a Wincest tag on AO3 to read
Exactly.
fanfiction of it and make myself uncomfortable, and then harass that person in their comments over it. I believe as long as no one's being actively hurt, then there does come a time when you have to say it isn't that serious. Because very often in our crusade to stop someone from being weird with fiction, we end up hurting real life people in censoring art. If we continue making it normal to censor each other based on art and fiction, then hey, to put it very bluntly, guess who's helping fascism grow?
Absolutely,
Guess
yeah.
who's aiding fascists? Guess who's helping dictators? Very not fun fact. The first thing
Whether
a
you want to
dictator
admit that or
targets
not,
when
you
seizing
are helping
power
those people.
is, that's right, the arts. They very usually start by putting some moral reasoning behind why certain types of art shouldn't be made.
Yep.
And queer art is usually number one on that list.
It starts with one category. It starts with one subcategory until eventually they're coming for all art. For all art that just period, just all art, just everything. Everything creative. If you support censorship in one field, you support it in every field.
That is true, by the way. Dictators go after the arts first, and they very usually pit their citizens against each other, where there's a lot of, tattletaling on each other. That's where I'm coming from. I'm not coming from some weird ass place. I'm watching the news, and I'm seeing the same hateful rhetoric in the spaces that used to be safe for me. And people on my channel have heard that before, have heard me say this before, and I'm just gonna keep saying it because genuinely it scares me. It scares me seeing young people act like this. My conclusion to all of this is that
It is very concerning.
I'm tired of the constant fighting, of the morality contests, and the thought pieces, and the ethical discussions surrounding Cookie Run Kingdom. I'm just tired of watching fandom and queer people, because a large part of fandom is made up of queer people, eat themselves alive. And the problems range from new people coming in and saying how cringe shipping is and can we please stop shipping non-canon pairings anymore, to making it genuinely an unsafe place for all of the weird kids who use fandom spaces to get away from the mean kids in their lives. Sorry, I didn't mean to make this video kind of heavy towards the end. I've already done.
I mean,
that in
it
past
is
videos. I
like
don't mean to make it heavy.
it is a
in
heavy
this
topic,
one,
whether
but
people
again,
want
I
to
just think
acknowledge
it's
that or
really
not. It is
important
a heavy
message, and I want
topic.
to get it across to people because I just think now more than ever we need to hear it some more. So yeah, hey, if you are just finding fandom or you found it super recently in this new era of the internet, then do not get me wrong. I truly and passionately welcome you. Like, yes, fandom's amazing. Without fandom, I don't know who I'd be today. Genuinely, fandom has been such an important part of my life, and it's been such a joy being able to share and explore and indulge in my favorite TV shows and indulge in the love I have for my favorite video games or favorite anime or whatever. Like, that changed my life. Fandom is so important to me, and I want that same joy for you too. Let's talk about Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen and how hot that man is. Let's fucking do it!
Go ahead!
Let's be cringe.
You
That
do
is
you!
Such a joy. That is such a freedom to that, and I want that for you too. I welcome you, girl. It's just as long as
If I want to talk about
I want you to
HSR
block people you
characters'
dislike. I want you to
chests,
make
I
friends,
will.
and I want you to cringe the out together and make art of you and your favorite character kissing, and then make like old man yaoi out of the cookies from Cookie Run Kingdom. I don't know what y'all do. I welcome any and everyone to fandom. Just don't be a kid. Those are my final words on that subject. Anyways, what do you think about fandom? fandom right now? Is it in the right now, or are you just like not noticing anything and you're just
Yeah, no,
like,
it's bad.
chillin'?
It's
What
very
is your
bad.
take on people disliking shipping? What is your take on this weird like fandom policing conservative wave that is just intense? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. In the comment sections on my channel, we always have such fruitful discussions, and you guys are very erudite and very respectful. So just be respectful with each other and have civil conversations, and that is all I ask. Again, I have talked more on this act of fandom policing in this video here, and also I did a video on Kailuk from Genshin Impact that is very controversial and has a lot of discourse around it. So definitely watch that if you are aware of that situation. I definitely think it's also an important message to talk about. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm a
am I still
make a lot of fandom content.
Not,
so stick around
I'm gonna
for more, because we also hit like 75,000 subscribers, which is like crazy to me, a little bit ago, and I think it would be super cool if we could hit 100k by like the end of the summer. Like that would be so sick. So please follow. I would love to hit 100k and grow our little rat sewer family even more. Please, that would be really, really cool.
Hell yeah.
Thank you in advance. And if you'd like to support the channel even more, then please become
I think there's just like reading off
coffee.com/social.
Yeah, but that was good. That was a good video. And as, you know, as expected, 2 hours and well, excluding, you know, starting time and chatting time, at least 1.5 hours. But, you know, hey, I expected it. And I'm probably gonna end stream in a little bit, but I will also say that, you know, if I have not made it clear enough yet, this entire channel, well, both channels, this entire space, every stream, everything, me, this is a fandom-friendly space. If you want to talk about your favorite characters, your favorite ships, your headcanons, fan fiction, fan art, doesn't matter. Go ahead. You know, as long as it's, you know, like relatively on topic, or we're not currently talking about, you know, a certain thing that is unrelated, you know, in that case, you know, just maybe like wait until we're done, or try to wait for the right moment. But besides that, yes. And if you have like opinions on certain fandom related issues, or even non-fandom related issues, you know, you are free to share them whenever. Well, not whenever, I just said when, probably to, you know, wait for the right moment. But you are free to share your opinions, your thoughts here about whatever, as long as you are respectful, as long as you respect people's boundaries, my boundaries, you respect the rules, and you approach the topic with understanding. So, yeah. Gigor, welcome in! So, I do not know what that word means. If I want to talk about roadside Chojin birds and the bees and how it works, I will. Exactly. If you want to talk about weird shit, talk about weird shit, you know, as long as the people you're talking to are fine with it. You still want to hear that lullaby that... yes, let me... look that up real quick. Just our official... let's see. Wait, is it just on Instagram? Surely it's on like YouTube as well, right? Oh, it's not? Oh, that's weird. Okay, I guess. Yeah, it all boils down to don't be a dick. Okay, I guess we're checking this one out. I think this is it, right? Yeah, Midnight Carriage, Lullaby of the Skies. Lovely first comment. I forgot that you can send GIFs in the comments now. Or pictures and whatnot. Oh, interesting. Yeah, let's check this one out, and then we're gonna end. Let's see. Midnight Carriage, Lullaby of the Skies. Oh. There we go. Can I like full screen? That's fine. I'll leave it like this. Grayy. Oh, that's a little loud. That's a little loud.
Would you like to hear the new song I've been practicing?
Children always get so nervous when I treat them. So I sing to them to calm them down.
Can I maybe,
But sometimes...
No. Okay, I'm not gonna risk it.
Those songs end up working too well. Are you ready, little Ika?
Oh.
1, 2, 3.
Yo. Aww. I'm trying to position the cat, like, behind me. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. There we go. Oh, that was nice.
Little Ika.
That was cute.
Oh, even Gray fell asleep. Well, maybe that's the magic of the sky. Good night.
Oh, that was so cute. That was so cute. It's strange that they didn't upload this on YouTube. Huh. That was nice. That was nice. Wabam, wabam. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today. I think I'm gonna turn this reaction into a video as well. Another chunker of a video. And upload it, you know, at some point, maybe next week or something. I don't know. But yeah, that is going to be it for today. My bladder is about to explode because I ate a lot of strawberries and I drank a lot of water, and I should go make dinner now. So, with that said, I thank you all for being here today. Today was very fun. It was a very fun, chill, well, not quite chill, but it was a fun yapping stream. And we'll be back next Wednesday. Is 3.3 next Wednesday? I think it might be. Yeah, it is. It is. I think it is. So I think next week is going to be HSR week, because we might be getting into a 3.3 and the main story quest. So that's going to be fun and not depressing at all. Update on the manga deck situation, it was 700, not 300. Jesus Christ! Good lord! What is their problem? It is? Oh, hell yeah. Haven't finished the story yet? I highly recommend it. It's very good. At least in my opinion, you know? As someone who likes visual novels and doesn't mind the yapping. It's very good. Anyway. Stay safe, y'all. Take care. Have a lovely rest of your day and night, whatever time it is for you. And I will see you again maybe next week for some good old HSR. Bye-bye! And if you happen to engage in any online fandom spaces, discourse, for whatever reason, regarding whatever topic, be nice, be respectful, be understanding. Don't be an asshole.